Now let's see how to solve the problem. In this case, I'm going to do, in this side, I'm going to do the case of the consumer tax. And in this case, in this side, I'm going to do the case of the producer tax. So we know in both cases that the tax is given by $200 per unit. Now, we know that for the consumer reacts to the tax by shifting at any market price its demand from it was without tax, that I'm going to just leave without a subscript, by shifting it up by 200. This implies that in equilibrium we have to have that the demand of the consumer at the market price plus 200 has to be equal to the supply of the producer at price P. And that means that substituting 1000 minus P plus 200 has to be equal to 3P. And if you solve the equations, this implies that the equilibrium price for the consumer case is equal to 200 and the producer price, and the equilibrium quantity is equal to 600. You can get that by substituting just the equilibrium price in the supply function. Now, what about the case for the producer? Well, in this case, the demand of the consumer doesn't change, but what the producer does is that when the tax is there, it shifts its supply function down. And I will explain why in a second. So the supply with the tax is equal to a supply without the tax minus 200, the amount of the tax. Now, why does it do that? Well, the key intuition is this. If this is the market price, P minus 200 is the net price received by the firm, which at the end of the day is the only thing that the firm cares about. In this particular case, this was the net price paid by the consumer, which again is the total price is what the consumer cares about. Now, given this implies substituting in the equations that 1000 minus P has to be equal to 3 P minus 200. And if you solve the equation, this implies that P star in the case of the producer tax is equal to 400, and that Q star in the case of the producer is equal to 600. And together we get that the change in price is equal to minus $200 per unit, and the change in quantity is 0.